Hey guys, what's going on, my friends? My name is Rod. I'm your happy hippie. I'm doing this video. It's spontaneous, but it's not. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Not a long time. Last week, Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll dared or shouted out like 20 channels and gave them ideas he wanted them to do. He thought they'd be good at doing. He said if you didn't mention your name, it's because your channel was perfect. For me, he said he wanted me to talk about concerts I've been to. And Gary's a great guy. Gary, Physical Format Rock and Roll. You could catch him with the other guys on, I think it's Thursday nights. This Thursday, past Thursday, they were talking about sophomore albums. But anyway, he wanted me to talk about concerts. I've been to a lot of concerts, bro. I'm not saying I've been to more than you, but I've been to my share of fucking concerts, man. I was in radio for several years, and that enabled me to go to some great shows. But even without that, I've seen some really cool people, like NRBQ, the New Rhythm and Blues Quartet. These guys put on a hell of a show. And I remember going there, it was at the Bayou in Washington, D.C. And we were sitting at a table, and we were drinking beer, and a fight broke out across the room. And my buddy, Mark Zawiski, was like 10 years older than me. I said, oh, fuck, what are we going to do? He goes, we're going to fucking flip the table over and hide under it if it turns into a bar riot. But that never happened. It didn't turn into, they broke it up. That's just a funny memory, you know. I remember so many of them, and I'm really going just randomly for this. Paul McCartney, 4th of July, Washington, D.C., July 4th, 1990. 1990. And it was a beautiful day in D.C. They had a smoke-in, but nobody showed up to smoke because it was surrounded by police. And I remember someone asking me for weed, and I knew it was a fucking setup. Man, I don't fuck with that shit. Anyway, we hung out in D.C. all afternoon. Me and my buddy Ed Bocator. Rest in peace, Ed. Then we went to the show. I camped out for this. I camped out for this shit. We had on the field at RFK Stadium. Amazing. Best concert probably I've ever seen. He sang Happy Birthday to You right into It's Your Birthday by the Beatles, because it was our birthday. It was the United States birthday. He put on a firework display. Fucking when Back in the USR came on, it felt like the whole stadium was shaking. It was an amazing event. I remember camping out. I met people camping out that I stayed friends with for a long time. It was a magical fucking night. And you know what? The very next night, July 5th, me and Ed Bocator were sitting in Rockville, Maryland at a crab feast, drinking fucking beer and eating crabs, talking about what a good time we had. He's like, let's go back tonight. And we looked at our watches. It's 5 o'clock. We got plenty of fucking time. Stopped what we were doing, cleaned up, fucking took the subway into D.C., bought tickets from a scalper. And this scalper actually worked for that radio station, was scalping fucking tickets, but it is what it is. I had a great time. Second night, so I got to see Paul McCartney twice. Incredible both nights. I'm so glad I got to see that. It's Johnny Winter. I've seen Johnny Winter 13 times. Fucking always put on a good show, except for the last time I saw him. It was very, very sad. The last time I saw him, they brought him out, holding his wrist, and they sat him down on a chair, and they handed him his guitar, and they helped him strap it on. And it wasn't the Johnny Winter that I'd seen so many other times. When I first started seeing him, he'd be shirtless. Not that I wanted to see him shirtless, but he'd be jumping up and down and doing the splits. And over the years, you could just see him aging and aging. But it is what it is. God, I loved Johnny Winter. Hootie and the Blowfish. Yeah, I went to see Hootie and the Blowfish. I got there an hour late because the prick who was supposed to relieve me never showed up on his AM radio shift. But it is what it is. Robert Cray. I saw this guy in concert. And let me tell you, Robert Cray don't get enough credit. Robert Cray's a smooth motherfucker. It was Robert Cray and the Nighthawks. But Johnny Winter showed up and played in between. Did not expect that. It was fucking amazing. Amazing. That same year, I went to a blues fest. And the Fabulous Thunderbirds, who I'm not a huge fan of. Jimmy Vaughn's amazing. I'm not being disrespectful. But they made the mistake of letting Albert fucking Collins, okay? Are you with me? And John Lee Hooker and Buddy Guy and Junior Wells. He let those guys open up for him. And about into their fourth song, me and my buddies left. It was so generic. Can you imagine not Eric Clapton, Albert Collins and John Lee Hooker and Buddy Guy. And then comes the Fabulous Thunderbirds. Oh my God, they shouldn't have done that. I mean, they embarrassed themselves. And that same night, this guy, Danny Gatton, opened the show. Danny Gatton, a local guitar player from Maryland, wonderful musician, master guitar player. And that was really cool because he was a local boy. Some of the shows I loved were like in clubs, the Ramones. I got to see them 3 times. Just seeing them in a fucking club. And we saw them in Austin. The dudes, we got to go backstage and they had jelly donuts. And they were putting them on the floor and they were stomping them, squirting the freaking jelly everywhere. I mean, they were a fucking riot. And I never forget that, man. I was just in awe. I'm in the same room with Joey fucking Ramone, Johnny Ramone. Unfucking believable for me. And flash forward a few years later, a friend of mine became friends with one of them. He worked at Guitar Center in L.A. I think it was Marky. He became good pals with. But they're just people like us. But it was still cool hanging out with them. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Had a chance to see him. I'm going to tell this story. I shouldn't do it. I'm going to, guys. I'm trusting you guys. Hold on. I'm going to go get another beer. All right, guys. I'm back. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, Stevie. I'm drinking Red Eyes tonight, guys. My brother turned me onto these a few years ago. Yeah, I know you put the tomato juice in first. I fucked up. Listen, man, I had tickets to Stevie Ray Vaughan and the Stray fucking Cats. And I was on probation. And an incident happened. Or I was unavailable to go to that show. So my good friend Mark Z's brother-in-law got the fucking tickets. Better than going to waste. I think he later slipped me some money. But I was bummed out. So fucking bummed out. But the next time he came around, I camped out again. And I got to see Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jeff Beck. God, what a fucking show. The night I saw him, Jeff Beck opened because they were switching nights who opened. I got to see Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was so relieved. And I'm so glad I got to see him. Because, I fucked up. And it was my fault. I went away for a few months and I wasn't, Anyway, here's a concert I missed. Pink fucking Floyd. I'm in radio. I'm working my way up. And buddy John Oliver. Hey, you want to cover my shift Wednesday night? Oh, come on, in prime time, you could do it, man. 8 to midnight. I'm like, fuck yeah, I do it. Cool, I do it. It was to go to Pink Floyd because he knew there were extra tickets to it. I could have said no and got the tickets, you know. But he went and he got me a T-shirt. But I never forget that. I gave up a chance to see Pink Floyd to fucking work. Eric Clapton. Got to see him many times. My first date with my wife was Eric Clapton, and we're still on our first date, technically. She was younger than me. I was 24, she was 19. I really wanted to ask her out because I thought she was so cute, and with her red hair and her southern fucking accent and shit, you know. So I said, hey, you want to go see Eric Clapton? She didn't know a woman I was dating at the time bought those tickets for me and her to go. And she said, yeah, I'll go see Eric Clapton. So I went with Kelly. And I had a great fucking time. Loved the show. I loved being in her company. I remember going out to eat afterwards and getting a flat tire. So we had to walk back to the gas station where we had met because I was going to drive us to the show because we lived in separate parts. And she rode me back to my house. I said, just crash on my bed. I'll sleep on the couch tonight. And she, I thought, what a gentleman. You guys not even trying to jump my bones. But we're still on that first date, man. 33 years, May 29th, we'd be married. And Eric Clapton was it, man. Had many occasions to see Clapton, but that was my very favorite. And one last story before I go. The Rolling fucking Stones is the world's greatest rock and roll band. And to prove it, let's back up. When I told you I missed Stevie Ray Vaughan because I went away, well, I did a little time over some issues about substance abuse. And finally, a judge ordered me to court-ordered rehab. It was 18 months, 18 fucking months, in a court-ordered rehab. If I pleaded guilty to this deal, if not, I was going to be charged. I could have got up to 7 fucking years. And I said, fuck, I take the 18 months. Give me fucking 18 months, man. Anyway, I'm doing it about 6 months into the fucking rehab. I had some tickets. It was only probably 2 months, 3 months. But anyway, I had tickets and I camped out to see the Rolling Stones. That's a story by itself, that camp out. 2 days. Tripping balls on acid. I had like 5 cartons of stolen fucking cigarettes. Don't judge me. I'm a different person. And I was selling them for $3 a pack or 2 for $5. And that's back when cigarettes were like $1.75 a pack. And people were pissed off, but they needed cigarettes and they weren't going to leave. I was making money hand over fist. Great fucking time. And after that is when, I went bye-bye. Well, I'm in rehab and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not letting those fucking tickets go to waste. And I called my parents' house and I said, Mom, those tickets to the fucking, I didn't cuss to her. I said, the tickets to the Rolling Stones. Hey, baby, can you say it's my granddaughter? Are they still so-and-so? And, she goes, yeah, they're here. Your friend Steve Fisher wants to buy them from you. I said, no, I'll be home. The concert was on a Sunday night. I hitchhiked like fucking 3 hours back to my fucking parents' house. It was rainy. It was nasty. I got there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They didn't know. I fucking freaked them out by coming home. And I went to the fucking show. I had a great time. It was raining. I wasn't going to miss the fucking Rolling Stones. I wasn't going to fucking do it. And people I was in rehab with were like, dude, you were court-ordered here. You're going to fucking do fucking jail time, you crazy motherfucker. Well, I called my parole officer the next day, or my probation officer, and I explained to her what I've done. And she said, find a job immediately before you go to court. And I found a job. A friend of mine, Mark Z, who's passed away. I love Mark to death. I saw many shows with him. His wife, Mary, gave me a job. They had a gas station. It was called Free State in Rockville, Maryland. She gave me a job. Because of that, having a job, I did not get violated. I could not believe I did not get violated and have to do fucking time. But I was willing to do that to see the Stones. Where the fuck was my head? But it's a good thing I did that. You know why? Because like a month after, 2 months after that, is when they put an ad in the newspaper for help. And they were offering $7 an hour. And this is back in 1990, which was a lot of money in 1990. Everyone was paying $5 for minimum wage shit. And my wife saw it advertised in the Washington Post, and she thought it was local. She didn't realize she was 30 minutes away from it. But she came in and interviewed. I said, hire that girl, hire that girl. And she did, and I started dating her. And like I said, our first date was her at Clapton, and we're still hanging out. 33 years, May 29th, we've been married. And I shared a lot of shit tonight I shouldn't have probably shared. Don't judge me. I'm a changed man. I've got 2 kids now and grandkids. I don't partake in that lifestyle. But at one time, I was that crazy dude with the hair halfway down my back at the concerts, fucking just tripping and acting a fool. And that's long past. But this was for Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll. That's some concert stories, man. Everyone have a good night or good day.